Yes, sir. Run Pure Sports. We got the MMA Show, UFC 296. And there were two. And it's just me here, JSU, hosting the show with my boy Mad Lab in the house today. And we're going to break through this entire UFC 296 card and give you guys all the winners. Obviously, if you would, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed to the Run Pure Sports YouTube channel, and check out all the content we got over at Run Pure Sports right now. We still are running that promo code GIBLETS44. That'll get you 44% off your first monthly or weekly payment over at Run Pure Sports. So use that code GIBLETS44 and get your 44%. You can check out Mad Lab's full breakdowns for the main card, metrics, all the content, the podcast that's going to be up. And Big T is calling as you're on the show. So answer the phone. Tell him to get his ass on the show.
I'm on live. We're on live right now. You're on live. Bro, we got no friends. Why? You want to come on so I can tear you apart live on the episode?
Yeah. Tell him to get on here. We need Big T takes.
All right, come on. We'll wait. Do you want us to wait for you?
Yeah, we're going to wait for him. We'll bullshit.
We're live. Right, just jump on when you're ready.
Yeah.
All right, hurry up. But don't eat nothing. I don't want you eating and getting all nauseous. All right.
Nauseous. He is actually, shout out to Big T. He's going to jump on the show, it seems. He is actually sick, and he's been sick. I don't know if he's had COVID for like the last 4 or 5 days, but he's had something. So I know he's still a little under the weather, but he's going to troop it out for us. He's going to come in, maybe talk some MMA with us. So that's good. But Mad Lab, we got a lot to talk about anyways. Before we even jumped on, we started, talking. And of course, we blabbed for 8 minutes. And then we're like, we got to go live. What are we doing right now? We should just do this on the show. But this is one of those cards where, first of all, it's a great card. You got a lot of good fights, a lot of fights that I think people are going to be very against certain sides. And, you get the main event. I know a lot of people in our Discord, the main event fight is a big topic with Covington and Edwards. And we're going to have some good breakdowns, I think, for that fight. But just from an overview perspective of this card, how are you feeling?
I'll be honest with you, bro. There was a big hit to the press conference with Gary not being there. You know what I mean? That was a big hit. I feel like that was like a pivotal piece that everybody was going to kind of be targeting. He was going to be being asked very hard questions. You know what I mean? That he was going to have to answer. And I think there was like a bridge that he kind of gapped. So I rated it honestly a D. I didn't think it was that good of a press conference. I think that everybody was.
Tony Ferguson was trying to be like the second guy in that press conference, and he wasn't. Yeah. But he was trying to be it. You could see it, right? He was trying to be like the second to Covington. He was trying to get with Colby and be like his sidekick, and it just felt forced to me.
And I think honestly, credit to Colby. Colby was trying to carry the press conference, but he tried a little too hard too in spots. Yeah, so it was cool. I mean, it was cringy, but it got the job done. I mean, he set out to what he needed to set out to do, whether you like 100%. It or fucking not.
Yeah, 100%. He set out to get people to tune in tomorrow, whether you hate him or you love him, right, Mad Lab? I think that's the strength of Colby Covington. Doesn't matter if you hate him or love him. His job is to get people to buy the pay-per-view and to tune in to see him get his head knocked off or to see him win or whatever you want to see. But that's his job. And I think he did his job at the end of the day.
The people complaining about what he said, would I have ever said that? No, that's just not my personality. But if you guys are really insulted by that, you shouldn't be watching fighting. It's not the game for you. You go watch golf, go watch tennis, go watch something else. This is fighting. These guys aren't, prim and proper, and they're coming in. All fair is in war. Would I have ever done it? No. Do I think it was a low blow? Yes. But the fact of the matter is, if you guys are new to this, go watch some stuff from back in the day when guys like Ricardo Mayorga was smacking Shane Mosley's wife when she bent over in a press conference. Go watch press conferences where, Antonio Margarito was threatening to take Miguel Cotto's wife, or when Mike Tyson was saying he was going to eat people's children. Go watch shit like that. I mean, he said something that was raw, foul, and bad, But if you're insulted by it, like if that bothers you, you shouldn't be watching fighting. I mean, plain and simple.
Yeah, it's like my wife, Mad Lab. I took her first time ever. I took her to an MMA card. We were 5 rows back on the floor, so we were like right up there, really good seats. And first fight of the night, someone got their arm snapped, and we could hear it. Like just we could hear the whole thing. And my wife, the whole night after that, was just sitting there like this, like she had nothing to do with it. And I feel fight fans, if you're that scared about or mad about what someone said and you can't handle that, well, then you probably can't handle like what you're seeing on the screen when shit like that happens. You probably like do that too. And I'm like, it's just the way it is. Like all, like you said, all's fair, and this is war. Like when they get in the cage, it's fucking war. They're trying to knock each other's heads off, submit them, break their arm if they have to. I mean, they're trying to win. They're trying to make the other one submit or knock them out cold.
Well, it also shows the level of education to because you got to remember, a lot of this stuff comes out from some content providers. I can't believe he fucking said that. Oh my God, what a piece of shit. There's a fine line to draw. No, there's no fine line to draw in fighting. Like I said, would I have said that? No. But the fact of the matter is there's levels that they have in their pocket. A big part of the fight game is Mike Tyson used to break you before you even came into the ring. Muhammad Ali used to break you before he came in. Even they had their own tactics. But Chael Sonnen, the same thing. When you go to a certain level and he's not biting and he's not biting and he's not biting, they're like, all right, this is going to be my Hail Mary attempt to actually get this guy to bite on something. And he bit. And that's it.
Yep. And that's what it was. And he bit hard. And Covington knew it. You saw Covington right when he threw was it a water bottle, and then he got up and Covington stood up, turned. He didn't even move forward either, Mad Lab. He just turned towards him, and you saw the kind of smirk, and that was like him saying, "I won this round."
So now he's going to fight emotional now, dude. That's the bad for Leon Edwards. That he's going to fight very emotional, and that's rule number 1 in fighting: never fight emotional.
I think it's funny too that some people think that he's just going to go in there and knock this dude out. Like this guy Leon Edwards is a knockout artist. Like I know he knocked out Usman, but like he's a decision fighter. Like he's a guy. He's not like the knockout artist that people are like. And then they think, oh, because Colby, it's like, dude, I think Colby's a lot tougher to just get out of there than people are thinking. Like, yeah, if he lands some crazy head kick, like that kick he got on Usman, that's knocking out. You know how many people that's knocking out? Like most people aren't eating that kick. Like everyone's going to sleep.
Bro, do you see the people saying he's going to get knocked out because he got into a street fight with Masvidal?
No.
I swear to God, they're like, bro, that's durability. That's durability. I'm like, all right, that's okay. All right.
No, that is funny though. So
let's get into this, bro, because we got a lot of shit to cover.
All right, so obviously you got a couple fights that are off the card. The Ian Gary fight, obviously is off the card, and then you got the Solikov fight with Brown off the card as well. So we start off, and I know you're gonna kill me for these name pronunciations, but I'm gonna do my best job. We got Bidet and Gaziev.
Close, good job, kid.
I tried my best there. 8,400 for Bidet and Gaziev 7,800. Here, Mad Lab, closely lined. I mean, I think this is one of the tougher fights for me anyway, so I want to get your breakdown on this fight here.
Yeah, it's tough. This fight's the one fight on the card that's like, if there's a fight to fall off, this would be the one we would want to fall off. You know what I mean? So I don't have faith in any of these guys. I don't think any of them are good. A lot of people are going to lean on the Dagestani undefeated wrestler at 7,800, they got that mystique behind them. But the fact of the matter is, if you really look at his record, like he hasn't fought anybody of note. They're all guys that, 2 or 3 fights, gets it done early. And when you're a wrestler at that size, at that weight, pushing a pace like that, if you don't get it done early, you're getting tired. And doesn't mean he's not in shape. It's just the natural genetics of men that size. Like they're not going to go 15 minutes at a Colby Covington pace. You know what I mean? So if Gaziev doesn't get this done in like round 1 or really put a clinic on him in round 1 and hurt him, I think Bidet comes back and wins like a really sloppy, dirty, boring fucking fight. You know what I mean? So I mean, I'm not going to go near this fight that hard. I think there's so many other fights on this card, but I think it'll be Gaziev like kind of early or Bidet late. Like that's the way I see this going.
That's how I see it going. I see it going though. Bidet late getting this thing done, whether it's by decision or he gets like some type of late finish. I feel like this could end up being a decision sloppy fight though, Madla. That's just kind of the feel
that's what I mean. Yeah,
I get from it. So you're right. It's probably like Gaziev first round, maybe he gets the first round, and then the second round's really close, and then the third round, Bidet gets that's where he kind of lengthens out and ends up winning the fight. So I think that's my lean on this fight. It's a close fight though. I'm gonna have strong predictions on some of these fights. This definitely is not one of my stronger convictions when it comes to fights. Who are you leaning right now?
I'm leaning Bidet. I think what happens is, like I said, Gaziev, does he have that Dagestani wrestling? Yeah, but just because you're a Dagestan, you have wrestling from Dagestan and you're undefeated doesn't mean that you're going to come in, you're going to be the next heavyweight Khabib. You know what I mean? I think carrying a guy like Bidet at 270 pounds, 265 pounds, whatever he is when he walks around, that's going to be taxing, bro, if you don't get what you want. You know what I mean? So I think he wins like round number 1, you know what I mean? And then Bidet comes back and slowly chips away, probably wins like a really boring fight, bro, that you don't even want to watch.
Yeah, I mean, Budet's tough too, so he can. I think he can withstand the first round of whatever the punishment is if he takes anything, and then come back in the third round. You saw it. I mean, outside of the last fight where he won early against Parisian, they're all before that 3-round decisions. So he's gone 3 rounds before. We've seen him go 3 rounds. We've seen him win 3-round decisions. And that's just, I'm going to lean on that. So, yep, that one's the first one. This next fight, though, Almeida and Fely, is an interesting one. And I know me and you went back and forth on the Fely Nathaniel Wood fight. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
You were on Nathaniel Wood.
No, I was on Fely, dude. I never go back to Fely.
Oh, no. You were on Fely. I was on Fely, too. So we didn't go back and forth.
It was another fight. Yeah.
Okay, we agreed on this fight. But one thing about that fight that I will say, like, when you catch somebody and you like stun them and they're just like rocked like that, because in my head I was like, okay, both these guys they're really good. They can strike. They have the power to KO each other. I think Fely had the wrestling, but he doesn't really utilize it as much. And then once you catch that guy, then you just don't want to do it after that. You just want to go for the KO. And both of them got like stunned twice in that fight where they were just like absolutely wobbled. And I thought the fight could have finished. So like this dude has the power to just drop anybody. And then you get into this fight here with Almeida, where I think the clear cut path would be for him to wrestle. And I just don't trust that Fely's going to wrestle. And we know Almeida's got some power, but I still think Fely is the right choice. I think he's better just about everywhere. And I'm going to go with him. But like his chin is definitely, his chin is definitely a little concerned. The only thing that makes me feel comfortable about it, though, is he did take shots from Nathaniel Wood that most people would get absolutely dropped by, and he somehow withstood them and managed to figure out where he was and get back to planet Earth and keep fighting. So that makes me feel a little more confident, but let's see if you're on the same side as me, because I know this is a fight where some people are picking the dog.
Yeah, this is it. Well, if you look at it on paper, I mean, he's a beauty queen at 7,700 with all finishes. I mean, how does like people not want to target him? So he's gonna get love. But the fact of the matter is I just think Fely's better everywhere. I think he's better mentally. I think he's better game planning. I think he comes from a better camp. He's been there forever in Sacramento. You have to be a good wrestler to be over at Alpha Male. They're like the old school Quest. He works behind a really good jab. He fights really long. The problem with Fely is sometimes he doesn't make the greatest decisions. It's just, I think it's been I was talking about this with my buddy actually back home because I'm getting ready to go back home and we were planning something to meet up. And we were talking about this year in MMA in general. And we were saying how such a weird year. It was almost like it was like an experimental year for a lot of fighters to leave their comfort zones and try to be something they're not. And I think as the track record went on in 2023, when we were saying, all right, well, What are these guys doing? They're like leaving their comfort zones. They're doing all these weird things. Their coaches are like implementing these new game plans that don't even make sense. And as they failed, I think in 2024, I think the balance of power is going to start coming back, where you're going to see the wrestlers start being wrestlers again. You're going to see the strikers start being strikers again. You know what I mean? Because I think it was like such a weird shift in experimentation in 2023. It was odd. But with Fely, that's the way I feel with him sometimes. Like sometimes he comes in, he wants to showcase his striking or he wants to showcase his wrestling because he's good everywhere. Like he really is. Fely's a good fighter everywhere. The problem with him is he's never touched his ceiling because he doesn't make the greatest decisions. You know, he wanted to be a movie maker at one time and all this shit. You never knew if he was here or he was going to retire. But ultimately, his frame, I think Almeida is a little too chaotic in there. You know, he does load up with everything. He does get frustrated. He can get it done, but I just think I'm going to take the straight line fighter. Andre Fely is much more of a straight line fighter where he's throwing things down the center, where Almeida's always coming over the top trying to hit him with things. And I think Almeida's a little too smart for him here. I think it's a close fight. I think there's a danger zone. I think it'd be nuts to fade Almeida in DraftKings. But my lean is Fely here.
I think one guy gets finished. So
yeah,
I do think there's a finish in this fight. I think it's a good fight for DraftKings to target for sure. And I will say, Fely's in the same camp as Song, right? Yadong, they're from the same
Alpha
camp, right?
male, yeah.
And we just saw Song in that fight against Gutierrez. We just saw him. What did he do, Mad Lab? In the later rounds, he started implementing the takedowns and the wrestling.
Alpha male is the old school quest.
So maybe Fely, maybe they get him into that and they say, this is your path. Like you can strike with him, but you don't have to. Like, just this is the easier path to victory, or do it early and just get him like kind of thinking about it, and then he's worried more about the takedowns, and you can catch him later. Like, so maybe we see that. That would be good. So either way, I like this fight.
But that's the way. That's what I'm telling you. I said it 2 years ago. People said I was nuts. I said strikers are going to take over this sport. And it's not because, and they're like, it's because you box and that's what you think is striker. I was like, no, striking is going to take over this sport because it's the hardest thing to learn. The angles, the manipulations, the cornering, the debating and all this. Like, there's so much to learn in striking, where in grappling, you don't need to know how to grapple. You do, but you really can take certain elements to really keep yourself safe. Defensive grappling, just learn takedown defense and stuff. Where boxing, if you get hurt on your feet, you got to figure it out on your feet. So I think a lot of camps in 2023 saw it shift in that way, and they were trying to get their fighters to really become strikers and leave their comfort zones, and it didn't work out. And I think in 2024, you're going to see the alpha male fighters be more wrestling based. You're going to see the SPG fighters be more striking based. I really believe in 2024, it's going to be much more cut and dry.
And Mad Lab, correct me if I'm wrong, but no one looks more lost than a wrestler who can't get a takedown standing up and trying to strike after.
Well, it's not even that. It's the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu people. They're the worst. Look at Mackenzie Dern.
Oh yeah, there's another one. Yeah,
you know what I mean. Look at Mackenzie Dern. So it's like you need to know striking, but you can't gain 10 to 15 years of knowledge in striking in 1 year. Where in wrestling or in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, at least you could teach them basic defense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, even Mackenzie Dern, though, 2 fights ago, we were like, her striking looked a little better. I know they were talking about it on the when she was fighting and stuff like that. And then the last fight, she looked terrible. So it's
she left Jason Perillo.
There you go. Yeah. All right. Yeah, so we're both on the Fely side. I like that fight, though. I think that's going to be a good one. Another fight that's pretty close. You got Duran and Olenbeckov. 8,300 for Olenbeckov, 7,900 for Cody Duran. Cody Duran has been a guy that I have been riding as a dog for the last 3 or 4 fights now, and he has just consistently came through for me. This guy, I mean, he is like a lot of decision fights, but the takedown numbers are there, control time's there for DraftKings, and so you got 2 guys that are going to try and wrestle. Olenbeckov is going to try and wrestle. But what I think is interesting is I think Tim Elliott gave the blueprint on how to beat Olenbeckov, which is get him to get offensive wrestling. Make You have to be the one to initiate, move forward first, get him on his back foot, and just pressure and take down. Even if he gets up, like in the Tim Elliott fight, when you watch that fight, you're not going to say Tim Elliott dominated him with his wrestling. You're going to say Tim Elliott took him down, he got back up, and then Tim Elliott took him down again, and then he got back up. And when he got back up, Tim Elliott was giving him elbows and knees, and he was doing some damage. But, like, he wasn't dominating him with his offense. It was just the pressure. It was just the constant – you just keep him thinking about it. And Tim Elliott just outwilled him. He out-scrambled him. He kind of outdogged him in ways. There was a couple times Olenbeckov had him, picked him up, Mad Lab, and was going to, like, slam him, and somehow he scrambled off and ended up on top of him. One time in mount, and I was like, how the hell did he get in mount from this position? So I think Durden has the style to beat Olenbeckov. So I actually like the dog here. I think Durden comes in. I think he can win a 3-round decision, and I think he really has the skills, and this should be even closer than it is. I like Durden a lot.
Yeah, I like Durden. I think he's a good fighter. I think, from what he's come from, I think he's got that dog in him, right? Like, I think everyone can agree, whether win or lose, he's going to fight for your money. The problem is with this fight, dude, I'd be really, really careful with this fight because Olenbeckov, I think too many people are looking at his layoff. Olenbeckov's a really good fighter, dude. Like, when he first came into the UFC, dude, they had high hopes for this kid. Like, they didn't have high hopes for Durden. Durden was kind of like he's like overachieving until they're like, you know what, this kid's really good.
He keeps winning, and he's still a dog. Yeah, right. That tells you everything you need to know. Like, yeah,
Olenbeckov came in, and they were like, dude, this kid is something to be dealt with. He's long, he's rangy, he's got good striking. Yeah, he's on a layoff, right now, but this is like a really odd style matchup for me, and I think you're going to kind of know early which way it's going. You know what I mean? I think on Durden's side, what he has the ability to be losing the fight and come back to win, where I don't think Olenbeckov has that ability. I think you could chip away at him and kind of break him little by little by little by little, or just nullify him in certain spots. I don't know, man. Listen, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to lean Durden here, but I'm going to tell you guys right now, like, when you have so many people that are looking at one guy as a dog, when it comes to DraftKings, sometimes it's better to go the other way with some lineups because you could completely X out a lot of the field. Durden's going to be a pretty heavy owned guy this week, because I think everybody's on him. And I think this is a fight they're looking at two wrestlers. There's going to be grappling exchanges. There's going to be takedowns, not like Pantoja and Royval, but you're getting a fight similar to that where you're salivating at the mouth. And when you're hearing all these content providers and you're hearing all the YouTube, Durden, because let's face it, Durden's very sociable on Twitter. He follows me. He follows like a lot of people. So everybody's like, oh, Durden. So there is that connection there you two have with him. So am I going with him here? Yeah, but will I tell you guys to like ignore Olenbeckov and override your lineups on Durden? I think no. I think you got to keep this one fucking even. And I got that written down in the thing that will be posted on RPS later. I have this as a 50-50 fight where I could see going to a split decision. Really?
I could see split decision. Okay. I mean, that's not crazy. What's interesting, though, Mad Lab, is you said you don't think you think if someone needs to come back, like in the end, it's Durden. It's not Olenbeckov.
No, I think he has the ability to more than Olenbeckov.
He has the ability. Because I was going to say, in the Tim Elliott fight, Olenbeckov won the third. Like, he was the one that won that third round, or, and it seemed like he was a little more fresh. But I think that was because Tim Elliott was just so aggressive in those first 2 rounds. And I know he doesn't tire out like crazy, but like it tired him out a little bit to the point where he was just so gassed because he was so offensive in the beginning. And I think Durden needs to do that, though. I think he needs to just from the get-go just be relentless. Even if this guy gets back up, you got to keep going. You got to keep pushing it and pushing it. And yeah, Olenbeckov.
Can you see a split?
I could see a split.
You know what the split is?
The technical striking, but
plus 900.
Yeah, I'll fuck with that.
That's not bad, dude. That's not bad. Plus 900 to the split decision.
I'll definitely.
Because you can see that fight like going that
100%.
way. You know what I mean? Totally.
100%.
Plus
Yeah.
9 hundo.
Let's see. Terry Niehaus is in the chat. Mad Lab greater than obviously. Mad Lab's greater than me.
Uncle
obviously.
T, my
And
man,
then-
how you feeling?
And then we got B. McNair
Oh,
saying, I don't know. I could see JSU by Kimura in round 1. I'll take that fucking
this
arm.
fucking kid is like the thorn in my side. I don't know what he has against me. I'll see him one day. I'm going to ask him for a license, and then we'll see what happens.
He loves you, Mad Lab.
I'll make sure he's over 21. Is he over 21?
I think he is over 21. Oh, that's funny. You know what though, Mad Lab? The more I know Brandon McNair, the more I realize that his favorites are actually the ones that he goes after constantly. He does the same thing with Big T. So you should.
He knows I'm busting his balls, dude.
He said he's 28, Mad Lab.
Oh, well, okay. We could share a cocktail and fucking some wings. And if you get out of line, I could smack you with hot sauce.
Smack you with hot sauce. All right. Let's go. Hey. Settle down, McNair. Settle down. Don't make me put you in timeout. We don't talk shit about Lab or Big T on this show.
Yeah, I heard about
Even
that.
if he's still not fucking here. Still waiting on you, Big T.
He's not coming. He's probably taking a shit and eating a turkey sandwich.
Taking a shit and eating a turkey sandwich. Do you like turkey sandwiches? I fucking hate turkey.
What, the real turkey or like cold cut turkey?
I don't like the cold cut turkey.
I'll fuck with a little honey turkey every once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like the cold meats as much. I don't know. But
I don't eat cold cuts. I don't eat cold cuts. Well, when I go back to New York, dude, I'm going back to New York for 10 days. My mother already called me. She's like, hey, are you dieting? Or are you like, are you going to eat? I go, I'm coming home for fucking Christmas. What do you mean? Am I dieting? She's making meatballs, braciole, sausage.
Yeah. What are you going to not eat your mother's cooking? Like, yeah,
of course I am. But that was a stupid question her to even ask me. But you're going to need another screen for my head.
Yeah, 100%. That's the worst, honestly, when you're on like some type of diet and you gotta go and mom's cooking. She's like, I'll cook you something different if you're still on. I'm like, no, I want to eat the real stuff. I want to eat the lasagna and the chicken parm and the pasta and meatballs. You got no choice. But bro, could you believe that Tony, he didn't know what the fuck cutlets were? He does. I swear to God, bro. I swear to God, he doesn't know. He didn't know what a cutlet was. So we were on a football show, and I said Tommy Cutlets, and he looked at me, and I know when Big T's bullshitting and when he's like totally dead serious. And he looked at me like I had 10 heads, and he goes, "What the fuck is cutlets?" And I'm like, "Bro, come on, you're kidding me, right?" And he's like, "No, like what the fuck?" I'm like, "You don't know what a cutlet is?" He had no fucking idea.
Wait a minute. Where is he from?
Kentucky. I mean,
there you go.
He said
I thought he was going to say something like Atlanta or something like that. Kentucky.
I think he grew up in Denver, though. Well,
in Denver, I mean, he should know a fucking. He never heard of cut. I'm gonna. You know what? I might when I go back to New York, I might get him a Tommy Cutlet shirt and send it. Because here's the thing. You know who my brother's neighbor is, right? He lives like 3 doors down from my brother. Tommy Cutlet.
Tommy DeVito?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No.
So he cool. in Cedar Grove. So my brother just told me yesterday. He's like, bro. He's like, the mother made those shirts. The mother's the one who made those Tommy Cutlet shirts. And now people are stealing the idea. So my brother's like, my nephew, Hudson. He's like, Hudson wanted one. He's like, so I fucking ordered it. And he's like, and Tommy DeVito's brother walked it to the house. Like, they're literally neighbors.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. They're literally neighbors. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good. He seemed like he'd be a nice guy.
Yeah, he's a nice guy, but his agent's a fucking nerd.
His agent, that guy, that outfit. I mean,
fuck out of here.
All right, next fight on the card, we got O'Neal, we got Lipsky. Lipsky 7,500 on DraftKings, O'Neal 8,700, and Mad Lab O'Neal for DraftKings scoring, anyways. Outside of her last fight, has been really friggin' good. You see a ton of volume, you see some control time, you see some takedowns in a lot of them. So she scores really well. I know a lot of people are going to see that. And then you got Lipsky, who's more like lower volume as much, not as much with her, and I think at the end of the day, it's like O'Neal she's just better than Lipsky. Lipsky might be improving, but I think O'Neal is just better. And I think that's going to show in this fight. You disagree with me, so why do you disagree?
No, I don't disagree with you at all. I'm just saying I think Lipsky got worse.
Oh, okay. Talk about it then.
I don't know if you remember, but before she came into the UFC, she really lived by the name, the Queen of Violence. Like, she was a violent fighter. Like, you watch some of her old regional stuff, like, she was really, really good. So that's why when she came to the UFC, they were like, all right, they were kind of promoting her pretty well. Attractive girl, violent. She came in and she looked like a shadow of herself, bro. It's like she had no confidence. She wouldn't pull the trigger. And she's still to this day, like, she has her spots where she shows the old Ariana Lipsky. But more times than not, it's like I don't know. She just never evolved. Her mental state never evolved. And you have her now on a 2-fight win streak, and people are kind of buying into that. But if you look at O'Neal, like, this is a girl that she had a blip in the radar. Yeah, O'Neal. She had like that one blip in the radar. But if she takes you down and gets top control on you, like, I could see her just making Lipsky shrimp up. You know what I mean? I can see her making her shrimp up. So I wouldn't touch this fight from a betting perspective, because I do think Lipsky has paths to win this fight. Momentum is a very live thing. Confidence is a very live thing. She is on a 2-fight win streak. But I mean, I like O'Neal here. I think she has the potential to score pretty well on DraftKings if she gets what she wants. But that price tag is still a little nerve-wracking for me at 8,700 for a fight that, I mean, let's be honest, they're not top level female MMA,
No, they're not. I'm just saying, though, I kind of agree with you when it comes to O'Neal, and I think this is a fight where I just think she's better than her, and it's going to show. And if it does, can that volume win out in a 3-round fight or even a finish? And I think it could. So that's why for DraftKings, I'm going to have some of her at 8,700.
Yeah, I will too, yeah.
Fit some builds, and I will be lower. There's dogs that I like on this card, so like dogs like Lipsky, I'm not going to be on board with, because I'm with you. Like, I don't think she's going to be in the same ballpark as O'Neal, and I think you got other dogs that are really close, and so why am I going to mess with someone like Lipsky?
You know what I always say to people when we talk about roster construction and stuff, how to choose, this will make it easier for you guys to actually choose, because it makes you take a stand. Right. So like when you look at someone like Lipsky or this O'Neal fight, you could say, well, O'Neal's a little expensive. I could see it going this way, but I can also see it being like a close, sloppy fight because they're not that good. But what you got to do is you can't look at it that way. You have to look at the probability of her potential for high upside. What could she do if she has a really good night and things starts going her way? Casey O'Neal's the type of girl that can take you down, literally mount you. She showed the ability to do that. Throw up a high score. Ariana Lipsky has the ability to kind of fold when things aren't going her way. So that's what brings you onto it more. Don't look at it like, well, like breaking a fight down and DK, two different things. I broke it down telling you, these girls are low MMA, this and that, but I'm not really sold on any of them. But when you look at O'Neal, you got to look at where's her upside? Like, what is her ceiling in a fight where she could really showcase? And she can have well over 100 points. She's proved it already. She's done it 4 or 5 of her last 5 fights. She hit 100 points. So you got to play that upside too. You can't only be afraid of the price, Yeah,
100%. The upside is definitely there. And I think O'Neal is definitely a good shot. I see Dan in the chat. He said, I like O'Neal inside the distance. I could definitely see inside the distance here. So I like that too. Probably get decent odds. I wonder what the odds are on like a finish like that, Mad Lab. What's the inside the distance?
Let me look. Let me look. Hold on. I can find out for you right now.
O'Neal isn't so. I mean, like, I could see a sub. What do you think, Mad Lab? A sub? Or
I could see her ground. No, I could see a sub, but I can also see her like mounting her on the corner of the cage and just, the ref stepping in because she just showed
stoppage.
Up,
Yeah. I wonder what those odds are. I like that though. I'm gonna definitely have
it's not coming up for me here. Somebody put it in here, guys. Look it up. Look up. Come on. Look up Casey O'Neal inside the distance.
All right, I'm gonna do it because Mad Lab's struggling over there. So JSU's coming.
NUL. It's not like
Sub is plus 500. Thank you, Matty Ice. Plus 500 for a sub. And then I'm gonna pull it up here. I should have this up.
So inside the distance has to be like plus 220, 230.
Which is pretty good. So Casey O'Neill by TKO or KO plus 500. Mad Lab.
Yeah, but what's the inside the distance?
Oh, the inside the distance. Let's see.
Plus 225. I was fucking on the money, dude.
Yep. Yeah, there you go. Plus 225. That's Penny. All right, there you go. Yeah, I like that though. That's a good spot. So I'm going to bet that. Let's go to the next fight here. I wonder if we're going to be on the same sides here. We got Garbrandt and we got Kelleher at 7,200 and Garbrandt at 9K. And Mad Lab, at 9K, I can't trust Cody Garbrandt in my lineup. I won't trust Cody Garbrandt in my lineup. Is he the more talented fighter? Yes. But for DraftKings at 9K, I just can't do it. Now, Kelleher, he's a guy who he hasn't looked that great recently. But at the same time, I'm going to go through these two guys. And for me, Garbrandt, we know his chin, like you hit him, he's going to back up. And he's going to back up real fast. He fought, Trevin Jones last fight. And that dude, I swear, Trevin Jones hit him 5 times, maybe, like in the whole fight, like literally like connected like 5 times. It was awful. Cody Garbrandt was dancing around the cage. He was doing a little foot thing. Like he was just kind of controlling the fight and doing whatever he wanted to do. So it was kind of a crappier fight. Like he did get some takedowns and control time, but it wasn't like he was, shooting and going for it. It was just like opportunistic type takedowns. But like Trevin Jones literally was like over swinging, not getting any like touches on him at all. But in the 3rd round, there was one time where he caught him on the chin and it was like one, and it wasn't even that like hard, but he got him and then he hit him again. And you saw Garbrandt just start back, like almost like he was running backwards. And I'm like, that's like the first time he's gotten hit in the chin the whole fight. And he immediately moves backwards. What's he going to do when Ryan Kelleher, start of the fight, runs right into his face? I think this is a fight where Cody Garbrandt gets chinned and he gets dropped by Brian Kelleher. So I actually like the dog. I think he could actually finish this fight and get the KO here. So I'm on the Brian Kelleher side. I think most people are probably on the Garbrandt side, but Mad Lab, where are you at with this fight?
Yeah, I flipped, man. I flipped my pick back and forth. I actually did my write-up. I picked one way, and then I was like, you know what? I'm going to go the other way. Then I flipped it. So I flipped. I'm going to tell you honest. I flipped numerous times. I have no confidence in either of these guys. But I will say that when you have a situation like this, and Trevor, to answer your question, no, I don't pick a side in DraftKings. That was just my way of telling you guys, like, don't be feared off of a price so quickly. Look at the matchup, look at their upside, and decide from there. Like, don't be pushed away from an $8,700 price tag just because they're not that good of fighters. Like, you got to look at what their paths are. So, no, I don't. I'll have Lipsky, but I don't just, pick a side that way. So,
yeah, even and Dan's in the chat, and he's in our Discord. And, like, for one, if you're playing, like, MMA and stuff, you're going to have tastes of all these fighters for the most part.
Read my hedge weights. You'll see in my hedge weights in my DFS on the site how many percent of each fighter. You'll never see me at 0%. You'll see me at like 35-20, 45-30. Like, you'll see me, but you'll see my shift and balance of each fighter. So, but no, you got to use everybody. It's a fight game.
Yep.
As far as Garbrandt, like when I look at a fight like this and you look at a guy like, look, Kelleher sucks, dude. Let's be honest. Kelleher sucks. And I there's only a few guys that I don't like in the UFC. Brian Kelleher is one of them. He just bothers me. There's something about him. He rubs me the wrong way. He's got a nasty guillotine. Like that, I'll give him. He's got a nasty guillotine. He had decent power. He hasn't had a knockout in fucking 10 years, dude.
Like, in forever.
Yeah.
In forever.
He's got decent power, but he's got a but the thing with him is he runs himself into really, really bad situations. He's had neck surgery. He's been laid up for 7 months. He hasn't really fought. He's coming back now to fight. So he's in the same situation as Garbrandt, bro. If you really think about it, like both of these guys are kind of in the same situation. Mm-hmm. And from that point on, where do you go? I go to who's the better fighter. And the better fighter is Cody Garbrandt, dude. He's the better wrestler. He's the better striker. He's the better athlete. But like you said, he could be fucking chin, dude. Like he could be chin like this. I think the Trevin Jones thing was more of an experiment for him, like to just get back in there and kick some cage rust off. I think he's going to be a little bit more active, but I don't think he's going to have to be as concerned as he is with Trevin Jones. Just for the mere fact, Trevin Jones is much more athletic and explosive than Kelleher. Kelleher's slow as molasses, dude. Like he's really fucking slow. You know, so I'm not expecting to see a great Cody Garbrandt. I'm not going to roster him at 9,000, although I do think there's a chance that he can knock Kelleher out. So you got to be careful there. But this is a fight that I'm ultimately kind of sitting back on because I could see it being a snooze fest. You know, but
I could definitely see it being a snooze fest. But literally, it only takes one shot to put these guys out.
Guys in this situation.
For both guys, 100%. And I'm counting on him not being as afraid of Kelleher as he was of Trevin Giles, because I know for a fact if Kelleher connects with that chin, that dude's going down or he's running backwards.
Well, no, he's going to do what like we're talking about with Edwards fighting emotional. His biggest downfall his entire career was he fights emotional. If you hit him, he won't reset. He needs to run towards you and get it back. He did it with Pedro Munoz. Like you, I mean, that's the stupidest thing. That's the wrong guy to do it to. You hit him, and did you see when he fought Pedro Munoz before he got knocked out? He wasn't even running like towards him like this. Like he was like running towards him.
No, he was running.
You know what I mean? Like, then he's like winding up, and you can't do that, bro. He fights very emotional. So if Kelleher tags him with something early and embarrasses him, then he's going to come after. He'll get knocked out. But I don't know. It's tough. I'm going to go Cody, but I have no really conviction on it.
Yeah, and just real quick, you were talking about your hedge weights on the site. So on your site, on the Run Pure Sports site as well, if you're a member at Run Pure Sports, you can go check out Mad Lab's hedge for each fight and fighter, right? So he has it at the bottom.
I'll explain it to you. I got it open. Yeah. So you get the name, you'll see the name. Let's go to Edwards. Edwards, 8,200. 100 plus points is how many? I only go back 5 fights, guys. Don't go back any more than that. So it says 100 plus points, 0 of 5. That means Edwards hasn't hit the 100 plus mark in 5 fights. Current market value, which is priced right now, 8,200, 3 of 5. So he hit that 3 of 5 his last 5. Predicted win percentage is my personal predicted win percentage. What my finishing upside is, covering upside. This is all my opinion. Price, if I think it's strong, weak, fair, and then his hedge weight at the bottom. If it says 40%, that means I'm going to put him in around 40% of my lineup. So that's basically how you use that.
Perfect. And you get that whether you're a member at Mad Labs MMA or at Run Pure Sports. So either way, you can check that out over on our site. Make sure you guys use the code Giblets44 if you're not a member and get that 44% off. All right, next fight on the card, we got Rosa. We got Aldana. Aldana, 8,800. Rosa, 7,400. Mad Lab, Aldana, someone who, needs to stay or should be looking to stay on the outside. Pick her apart. Rosa, if she can crash the pocket and get, kind of where it's not just a striking on the outside mats, that's where she's going to have probably more success. What do you see in this fight, and who do you like?
Listen, I got to go with Aldana. I like her boxing. I think she beats a lot of 90% of the girls in the division out that aren't named Amanda Nunes. I think she choked. I really do. I think she choked in a moment. I think she fell behind. I think the lights got to her. And I think she choked. I do have a problem with this fight, though, because she was the last person to weigh in, and she did not look good on the scale. So that's what kind of concerns me a little bit with this fight. This is speed versus power. Rosa is fast. She's athletic. She gets in and out pretty well. She's dumb as fucking rock. She makes terrible cage decisions. And Aldana's going to look to, really lay hands on. It's hard to pick against her in this spot. This is like a redemption spot for her. Because not only did she lose to Nunes, she got fucking embarrassed by Nunes. And I was high on Aldana. I said Aldana's going to make this a fight. I said, if I've been watching, and she embarrassed me. I mean, she embarrassed Mexico. She embarrassed herself. She threw in the towel without throwing in the towel. So I'm looking at this as a redemption spot for her. I'm just hoping that the weight cut doesn't affect her at all, because she was the very last person to weigh in, to the point where John Anik, after he weighed her in, he's like, all right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Like, they wanted to get out of there. So that's my only concern with this fight, but I do lean her. DraftKings, these price tags with strikers, especially on female MMA, it's a hard one to grasp, because there's not a ton of finishes. It's not like males are going in there and knocking each other's block off. Like, this could be a fight where Aldana goes in violently and gets a finish, but I can also see her maybe just, jabbing her way to fucking victory. You know what I mean? So it's kind of, I haven't really decided my hedge weight on this one yet. I am leaning Aldana, but that $8,800 price tag is kind of pushing me off. Rosa, $7,400 to me is live. If there's a confidence issue with Aldana coming in, if there's a weight cut for issue with her, she gasses out, or she feels like she's got to prove something, she has an adrenaline dump, Rosa can win this fight too. So, I think there's value on Rosa, but I'm leaning Aldana.
Yeah, I see it the way you do. I feel like these are just, it's off, right? Aldana got embarrassed. She got, her ass beat by Nunes. I mean, are we dinging her hard for that? I mean, we're talking about Amanda Nunes. Can we just, she's the top tier, you know what I mean? So now you go down a peg to fight someone like Rosa. And I just think Aldana is just better than her. Like, Aldana is top tier too. She just got embarrassed that one night. I don't think that's her as a fighter. I think she just had a bad night. I think, like you said, maybe the lights were too bright. Who knows? I have no idea. But either way, I think it's more, as long as she doesn't have that adrenaline dump like you're talking about, where she can just kind of be patient, hang out on the outside, keep her at distance, and just pick her apart, I think she easily wins this fight. And I think that's what happens, honestly. I think she just picks her apart and wins an easy decision, though, Mad Lab. That's the only thing. So, like, a decision fight.
No,
here,
I think she can knock Rosa out.
You're calling a knockout.
I'm saying I think she can. I'm not calling a knockout. But it depends what Aldana shows up.
She can. I don't know if it happens, honestly. I think this fight could end in a decision. But if she does knock her out, Mad Lab, 8,800, how do you rank her with that range? Because that range is kind of loaded.
Right now I have her sitting at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have her near the bottom of the list. I'll be honest with you. I have her near the bottom of the list.
That's where I would have to rank her too. Because yes, she could knock her out. Like, if I was betting her to finish inside the 100%, she could knock her out. But where she is price tag,
you're going to get this. You're getting this anyway on your site. So I'm going to tell you right now, I have her just over Bidet.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's where she should be, honestly. Yeah. So,
all right, good.
All right, we're both on that side. Let's go to our boy DC. Shout out DC. He's not on this show. He's actually heading to the fights right now, so he's going to be out for the weekend. But he's going to see his boy Dustin Jacobe fight against Alonzo Menafield. Jacobe 9,100 on DraftKings. Menafield 7,100 on DraftKings. Last time we saw these two guys fight, Jacobe was making me look silly, knocking out Kennedy Nchukwu. I was on the Nchukwu side and took a big L there. Man, I was heavy on Nchukwu too. I really liked him that fight, and Jacobe owned me, that's for sure. And then Menafield, this was a fight against Jimmy Crute where, I mean, I was on the Menafield side. I know that was a fight where I argued with a bunch of people in the Discord. Some of the other cords were on the Jimmy Crute side, and Menafield was the right side. He didn't do it the way I thought he was going to do it, though, honestly. So I thought he was going to come in there and just knock his ass out like in the first round. It did not happen that way, Mad Lab. So what are you seeing here from Menafield and Jacobe?
I'll be honest with you, man. There's a couple very trappy fights on this card. And this is one that could be a little trappy to me. Like, I don't think Jacobe should be this high priced. just because I think that, listen, I think he's the better fighter. I'm leaning him to win the fight. I think there's a clear path for him to win this fight. But we've also seen Dustin Jacobe like almost take his kickboxing pedigree. And if somebody even tries to contest with him there, he's like, bro, what do you do? Let's go toe to toe. Menafield's not that guy you want to do that with. You know, he's not that guy you want to do that with. Like, so not only for the power that he has, but if he ends up getting in on Jacobe's hips, like, let's face it, Jacobe's a kickboxer. He's not a great wrestler. You know, he's not a functional wrestler where Menafield's going to be looking to do that. I do think there's a danger zone here, but I also think that what is it called? Jacobe can knock him out later on in the fight. Like, so I'm looking at maybe Menafield looking to get in on his hips, looking to take him down, failing, chasing him around the ring. They're using a bigger cage. So Jacobe's going to be using that movement that he uses so well. And then I think he's going to, possibly lay it on him, like maybe in the third round. So I'm going to lean him, but I'm going to tell you right now, like, there is a danger zone there. That price should not be over 2-1 odds.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that in DC actually put the betting odds for KO in round 2 and 3. I think they were like plus 500 and plus 1100 or something like that in round 3 for a KO. And I like that side. I think that what happens in this fight, I think Menafield in the first round could actually win the round. I think he could win the round, but I think he could also gas himself out a little bit. And then in the second round, you start getting into those desperation type, shooting for takedowns, almost like the need to get it. And that's where he can get caught. And, Jacobe also can use that kickboxing and, he is really good at it. Keep him at range with those kicks and stuff like that. So I think this is a spot where he can get the finish. And I think if you bet round 2 and 3, it's like plus 420 on FanDuel for a KO, TKO, and round 2 or 3. That's plus 420. So, that's what I see. I like Jacobe as well. But I agree with you. The line is it feels a little wide for sure. I think it should be a little closer than what it is. So Menafield, someone for DraftKings at 7,100, you can definitely take shots on, right, Mad Lab?
100%. 100%. That's what I mean. You got to play the upside. I listen, Jacobe too, the same thing. I could see him getting a late, but he's not volume enough. Like, if he gets a finish, it's not going to be from 100 significant strikes. It's going to be by him moving around, tiring him out, pinging him.
This is the perfect example of one guy's a better DraftKings play than he is probably even a bet, right?
Right, yeah.
Menafield's probably the better DraftKings play at 7,100. Whereas even though I think Jacobe wins, does he score enough at 9,100 to win in your DraftKings lineup is my only issue.
Yeah.
So I'm probably heavier on the Menafield side in DraftKings, even though I will be betting, and this sounds like a hedge, but it's just I do think Jacobe does get a knockout. But at the same time, what does he score in that knockout at the end of the day, and does that hit the optimal lineup? I don't think it does.
Well, I'm not high. I'm going to tell you guys right off the gate. You'll see it in my notations on my article. I'm not high on the 9K range at all this week. I have zero excitement about the 9K range, about Rakhmonov, around Jacobe, Patty, Cody. There's 0. The tournaments will not be won in the 9K range this week. They might even be lost in the 9K range this week. So take that for what it's worth.
It's going to be one in that upper 8K range. Maybe it is an Aldana. Maybe Aldana just does enough to outscore those 9K. Like maybe she's the difference at lower ownership, possibly. Yeah. Like something like, because I agree with you. I think the 8K, like the upper 8K range, mid to upper 8K range, is really good. Like, I feel really confident about some of those guys. And so I agree with you on like the 9K range being, not that great. So I could definitely see it. All right, let's move to the main card here, where we got some bangers, man. We got some bangers. We start off with Emmett and Mitchell. Bryce Mitchell at 8,900 on DraftKings. Josh Emmett at 7,300 on DraftKings. And talk about, Emmett here, 7,300. We all know Emmett. He's got that power to put anyone's lights out for sure. But Bryce Mitchell's that dude. I mean, like he had success. He took Temporia down in that first round. He had success there once he got him to the ground. I know he ended up losing that fight, but still he got him there. This dude, he can wrestle, and he's one of those dudes. Once he gets you down, it's tough to get back up. He's really good at it, and he'll just keep going too. That's the other thing. Like if you get up, he's just relentless, and he'll keep going and going. And I also think the style of how Emmett wants to throw those overhands, like we all know him for that overhand right, Mad Lab? That's like his go-to. Well, those are the ones where you level change. If you're a wrestler and someone throws that and they miss and you level change, it's like the perfect thing for a type of wrestler to level change from. So I think this is just a tough stylistic matchup for someone like him. And I think he's really going to struggle with Bryce Mitchell. And I think Bryce Mitchell gets it done. I think he can even get a finish, honestly. But what do you like here, Mad Lab, Mitchell and Emmett?
I'm not like I'm a little nervous about this fight. You know, you got Emmett on an alpha male guy. He's got plenty of guys on this card. He's got guys that are fighting on this card. He's got a great camp. The guy's like an ageless wonder, bro. I mean, the guy, yeah, if he's a little bit up there in age, but the guy's genetics are insane. We all know that he hits with a ton of power. And Mitchell became nuts, dude. I'm a firm believer that Mitchell's inability to really be what he was or what he could be is because of his fucking mental instability. I mean, the guy's a nut job. I mean, you know, saying his girlfriend was fucking coming to kill him. He was afraid for his life and flat earth and all this. He got caught in that whole conspiracy theory fucking web and he lost his mind. He seemed to like settle down a little bit now, though. It seems like he's getting back to fighting again. You know what I mean? He's getting back to that fighting again. So there's like a clear path for him to win this fight. I mean, he just has to put on pressure. He's got to, what do you do with a power fighter? You know what I mean? You got to you have to bridge the gap and take his tools away from him. And that's what he does. Like, that's what he does. That's what he's good at. He did it Edson Barboza. He bridged the gap. He closed it on him. He smothered him. You know, so that's basically what he's got to do. You got to close him down. You got to close Mitchell down. I mean, you got to close Emmett down. Will he do that? I don't know. Is he going to stand up and he's going to try to stand and strike with him? I doubt it. But the problem is, even if he does bridge the gap, he's got to watch Emmett's power, bro. I mean, Emmett's got good defensive wrestling. He comes from that whole alpha male camp. He can wrestle if he has to. He's got a ton of power. And if he hits anybody, it's nothing to do with him not being durable or if he takes too many shots. If he hits anybody, you're going to sleep clean. I mean, Emmett's got that kind of power. So that's what I fear, like that whole puncher's chance thing. But I'm with you. I think Mitchell should win this fight. I think the $8,900 price tag actually can hit too. I do believe that if he gets on top of him and just like controls him and uses his he's got a very unchained grappling ability. It's not like very orthodox. It's very unorthodox. It's like very planted 10th planet jiu-jitsu Eddie Bravo style. Just very unchained, very creative, very go with the flow. And I think that's what throws a lot of people off. So I do think he could score well, but I also do fear the power of Emmett. So you got to kind of touch on both sides of this fight, but I definitely got a heavier lean on Mitchell.
Yeah, this is a fight. It's not like this is a fight that I definitely think you can play both sides of it in DraftKings because you got the puncher's chance with Emmett where he hits you with that right hand, you can go to sleep 100%. And then you got Mitchell with the takedowns, the control time. And if he's having success, Mad Lab, that's where he's having the success, right? Like if Mitchell is controlling and dominating this fight, it's not going to be on the feet. It's going to be with the control on the ground. And so that's where he's going to score well too. So that's what you kind of want if you're taking Mitchell, honestly. So yeah, I think we see this both ways. You're a little higher, it feels like, on the dog, just in general, just because of the
it's
upside.
It's a puncher's chance.
Yeah, the upside for a knockout. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then like I said, like Mitchell's brain isn't too far off from fucking Tony Ferguson's, dude. Like in his own, in his own. Bro, let me explain something to you, bro. I got to tell you, you got to watch this interview. When I get off here, I got to send it to you later. Dude, Brandon Moreno, he ain't the same anymore, bro. I'm going to call it right now on this fucking show. He ain't the same anymore. He did an interview for the network on the UK during the weigh-ins. bro, his speech was slurred. I don't give a shit that he just weighed in. Everyone's like, I just weighed in. Listen to that. His bro, he doesn't even sound like the same human, dude.
Pantoja did it to him. He's just done. You think
bro, it happens. Those wars sometimes, and it takes one or two wars. It throws you off. If you watch that interview, bro, I'm gonna send it to you later. I'll find it. He just looks like he almost looks like he's on drugs.
I'll tell you right now, it's tough when a guy like Pantoja's beating you and he's blocking your punches and stuff with his face, and he just keeps moving forward and he keeps moving. That has to mentally fuck with you when you just feel like you like nailed them and you're having success, and the guy just keeps doing this.
Yeah.
And like that's got to mentally fuck with you. So, but I don't know. I'm not a world talented fighter or anything like that, but I'll tell you right now, if I felt like I was winning and having success and hurting someone, and they just kept coming forward, I would get mentally. It would fuck with me mentally. So I can only imagine these type of guys. So
yeah.
Maybe it got to him a little bit. Who knows? But
no, it did, bro. I'm telling you, wait till you see. No, I'm saying his brain is rattled, bro. Like he's not. The same guy.
Might be.
Wait till you hear his speech in this. I'm telling you, he's got that boxer's speech, like that pugilistic speech, dude.
All right, well, let's go to someone else whose brain is definitely rattled here, and it's Tony Ferguson at, 6,800 on DraftKings. He's fighting Paddy Pimblett, 9,400 on DraftKings. And we talked about Tony Ferguson, Madlab. Me and you were on the phone, and we talked about his training, right? Everyone was talking about kind of the training. You saw it on social media, all the stuff he was doing. And it was at a certain point, physical training becomes more mental than physical. It's like people who've never trained and put their bodies through like hell when it comes to training don't know this. But if you've ever done really stressful, like SEAL fit type Navy style training, like where you're just putting your body through the ringer day after day after day, it becomes way more mental than physical, where it's more just like the push to keep going. Like it's not like, can I keep doing this? Can I keep lifting this? Can I keep running or biking or whatever? It's just, can I keep pushing my mind to mentally force myself to keep doing it? And that's the hardest part. And you made the best point. That was never Tony Ferguson's weakness. So he's doing all this stuff, but he never struggled with that. It was never, he always had the heart of a lion. He was always moving forward. Even when he get hurt, he'd keep coming back. Right, Madlab? You made that point to me, and it kind of clicked to me. It was like, you're right. That was never his weakness. I could see for someone who like lost fights because they didn't have that dog in them and they didn't have that toughness to keep moving forward. That wasn't Tony Ferguson, like ever, right?
Yeah, I don't. It didn't make sense to me when I first saw it. Like you just said, it doesn't make sense. This is a guy who this is what he's known for. He's known to have that like Navy SEAL mindset, bro. Like you got to kill me to, So what did David Goggins put him through SEAL training for? What is that going to do for Tony Ferguson? Tony Ferguson, that's what he's known for. I would rather see him going back to 10th Planet, go back to Eddie Bravo, start getting involved with like his old school guys like Alan Joban again. Like go back to your old school roots instead of training in your fucking house facility, for the last 6 fights that you lost. It just didn't make sense to me. And I think it honestly can hurt him more than help him in certain spots, because it's like, how much is this fucking guy going to take? I mean, he's puking and everything. He's like, but here's the thing that I caught. When you train with somebody like David Goggins or, that kind of training, what is their job? Their job is to what? Peel you down to bare bones. It's the same thing when you go to the military. Their job is to peel you down to bare bones and build a man, build a gentleman, a well-spoken person.
Build you back up.
Build you back up.
Build you back up.
So when you have Tony Ferguson that just went through hell camp with fucking David Goggins, and he's still coming on stage saying ketchup face and all that, like, I mean, how much did he really break him down, dude? He's still saying, I'm going to slice you like ketchup face, you little boy, this and that. But like, I would have been a little concerned if he was up on the podium and he was just like sitting there like this. You're all going to see what's going to happen. You're all going to see. Like if he had that military, dude, he's still talking like a moron. You know what I mean? So My whole thing with this fight is I think Pimblett's the biggest fucking bust around. I do. I think he's a huge bust. I actually think he's a little concerned in this fight. He's a little too cool for school right now. Like, he's not doing any fucking trash talking in this fight. I just can't pick Tony Ferguson for a fucking 7th time. I just can't do it. Like, I want him to win. I'm going to be on the edge of my couch screaming on my fucking top of my lungs, let's go fucking T-Ferg, because I'm an old school guy that way. I just can't. Like, I can't do it to myself. I can't fucking sit there and invest money in a guy who is fucking fried, bro. Fucking fried. But on the flip side of it, now I'm siding with a guy who, in my opinion, is one of the biggest busts of 2023. So I can't win. Either way,
I can't win because I know, everybody knows this. Paddy Pimblett's a fraud.
He's a 100% fraud.
100%.
But is that fraud enough to beat a washed, shot, mind fuck Tony Ferguson, dude?
Like the old Tony Ferguson, that dude would have ran through this kid like hot butter, knife through hot butter.
Minus 1,000.
He would have just destroyed this kid.
What did I tell you? Remember what I told you about the part of the fight with the Gaethje fight?
Yeah, you told me that was the turning point in Tony Ferguson's career.
When you guys look at that fight, you guys just see that fight. You see Justin Gaethje is the first fight of his loss, his run, but you didn't see the part where it actually happened. There was actually a part in that fight where something broke, something just disabled, something gave in and said enough is enough. And it was a part where they're in the cage, they're fighting, and Gaethje hits him with a shot, and he starts side skipping the cage. And he starts going like this. He starts shaking his head out like he's got flies flying around his face and like something is buzzing in his brain. That moment right there, I said, that's it. He'll never be the same again. I literally said it. I said, he will never be the same. That didn't look right. Like, I've been around boxing my entire life. I've seen guys get hit, knocked out. I've been knocked out, rattled, submitted until they're convulsing. Like, I've seen it all. That did not look normal to me, where he was just like jumping around, shaking his fucking, like almost like a reggae, like he was listening to reggae music. Like he was trying to get something out of his head. That was the turning point. I can't trust him anymore, bro. Like, I think he's the type of guy that will never retire. You have to make him retire. So the UFC is going to make him retire tonight, Saturday.
So you think this is the end?
If he loses, how do you keep him on 7 straight losses? You're going to bring him into 2024?
I mean, you shouldn't.
No.
But he is Tony Ferguson, though.
Doesn't matter, bro. You got to protect him from himself.
Yeah.
He's not going to be a contender. Listen, if he beats
I'm more saying, like, he's done so much for the sport. It's got to be so hard to be like, thank you for everything you've done. Get out.
My hope is that he beats Paddy Pimblett and he walks away.
He ain't walking away.
He won't walk away.
There's no way if he wins, he's won. I give it a 0% chance that he walks away after winning.
Bro,
he's not even a 1%.
He told Covington he was next.
It's too good. Some stuff is too good. I will not bet Paddy Pimblett.
No.
Ever. I'm not doing it. I honestly hope even though I'm rooting for Tony Ferguson and I hope he wins, I honestly hope if Paddy does win, it's like it looks great. Like he looks like he dominated him and he gets a submission early. And
I don't want no damage. I don't want Tony to take any more damage.
Yeah, I hope it's quick. I hope everyone says, "Oh, he looked great." So then the next fight, whoever he fights, I guarantee you I'll be picking against Paddy in the next fight.
Yeah.
Whoever he fights. Doesn't matter. That dude is not going to be it. All right. Let's go to a better, I think it's a better fight. At least the dog is, in my opinion, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson against Rakhmonov here. I know Wonderboy's 6,500, Rakhmonov's 9,700. Lines very wide, but Thompson at least has some type of out. And I know no one's giving him the chance, Mad Lab, but he's got a puncher's chance too here against Rakhmonov. And I don't think anyone is giving him that chance. Like I know no one's giving Tony Ferguson a chance, But I was surprised to see that no one's given Wonderboy a chance.
I don't get it, man. I'll be honest with you. If all you got to do is watch the Jeff Neal fight with Rakhmonov. I mean, that's really all you got to do. I mean, is the guy really good? Fuck yeah. Is he really good? Is he a future champion? Probably. But dude, to say that he's just gonna run over Wonderboy is wrong. Like you can't. You got to look at when you look at fighting. You got to look at paths. It doesn't matter if you think that the one path is going to be the path. You still have to look at paths. If you look at the grappling path, we all know it's obvious that Stephen Thompson's going to get rinsed, repeated, choked out, strangled, and beaten up on the ground. But if it stays on the feet, if you guys actually think that Rakhmonov is a better striker than fucking Wonderboy, you're out of your mind. It's the bigger cage, number one, and he was born and bred for point fighting, which means it's all about keeping distance and teep kicks and leg kicks and moving around and changing angles and making you chase him and counter fighting. So there's a path there for him too. So to just completely sell him off the boat and say, dude, you're not winning this fight from hell or high water, it's fucking crazy. I'm going to tell you this right now, dude. This is a really, really, really trappy fucking line, bro. There is no way that he should be minus 600 in this fight.
No way.
I say minus 250. I'd say is okay. I think okay. Even that's a little much. 220. That's fine. 2-1. Bro, there's no fucking way that this kid should be minus 600 against Wonderboy. Zero way. I'm not picking Wonderboy. I'm not telling you I'm saying Wonderboy's going to win the fight, but I think he's got a much better chance than people think that he has in this fight.
Yeah, and you brought up the Jeff Neal fight, and I agree with you. You watch that fight, and it's like, okay, how do you watch that fight and then watch Wonderboy and say, this fight, these are the odds? Because in my mind, I'm like you. I was thinking like they'd be minus 350 even. Like I thought, a little high, like a little higher than what you were thinking. But still, when I saw that it was minus 600, minus 7, whatever it was, minus 700, I don't know exactly. I was like, wow, there's no respect to Wonderboy here. And he definitely has a chance here. He has way more of a chance than people are giving to him. I think the line's a little wide. And at 6,500, Mad Lab, even in a decision win, he can get you enough points to be your one dog on a winner. So,
you know what? It's funny when people talk about how durable Rakhmonov is. Oh my God, he's so durable. Did you see the shots he was taking? Guys, you got to read that two ways. You got to read that as, yeah, that's a safety blanket for you in a way that he's so durable. But you also got to read it that the guy's getting hit. The guy gets hit.
Hittable.
He's very hittable. You know what I mean? So when you talk about a guy being super, super durable, that's not a cool thing to talk about. Like, we personally don't know if Floyd Mayweather was a super, super durable fighter. Why? He never got fucking hit. So you can't say he's durable. You could say he had a great defensive shell. He had the whole Philly shell thing going. But when you talk about a guy already this early in his career that he's this durable, it means he's getting hit. It means he's getting hit.
We're going to talk about another guy in the next fight who's really durable. But it also means at some point that's going to change, and that's Pantoja. So we're gonna talk about the same thing there with the next fight. But all right, so here, what are you doing in DraftKings, Mad Lab, with these
for
two fights?
Rakhmonov? And listen, I put a notation in parentheses on this. Rakhmonov 9,700 scares me a lot. I think the line is trappy. I think the DraftKings is trappy. I think he could cover both of them. I think he could look like a 600 fighter, and he can also look like a 9,700 fighter where he scores. But I'm telling you guys right now, this just smells bad to me. Like, it smells bad to me. It smells like Wonderboy can keep this as like a really fucking weird fight.
I'm going to go a step further and say, like, so, even if he scores 100, I don't think that's the winner.
No, that's what I mean.
And so at 9,700, I mean, you need a dominant performance. Mad Lab, do you think he's going out there and you think he's going to control him for 12 minutes and have multiple takedowns? And
no, because he's got to feel his way in.
He's got to feel his. So that means he either needs that like win bonus at his price tag, either needs that like quick win, which I don't think happens, or he needs a ton of volume and or control and takedowns. And I don't see that happening either.
Yeah,
so I think a low 90 score for Rakhmonov doesn't hit the optimal. And I'm going to be off Rakhmonov at that price tag.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
And so I think being underweight on him is a good move in DraftKings because people are going to spend up for him. I mean, he's going to be very popular, and I think that's a huge edge on this card. If you think if he scores between 90 and 105 even, there's a chance at that score he's not on the winner.
He's not going to make it.
He don't make it, and that's what I see. So yeah, I'm going to be probably fading Rakhmonov. I'm not 150, but I'll have I'll probably have like 20 or 50 in the $25, and but I'm definitely gonna be off of him, and that's gonna be one of the stands I make. So yeah, later on this fight, I really like the next two fights too. So I think that's another reason why I'll be lighter on this fight. I really like the next two fights, and I feel confident about the next two fights, Mad Lab. So let's get into it. We got the co-main event, Alexander Pantoja and Brandon Royval. Pantoja 8,600, Royval 7,600. And I said it to you when we were talking. I said my favorite fight of the night. I feel very confident about this fight is Pantoja. I think Pantoja is a lock. He's my favorite from like a betting perspective. I love him. I'm going to be all over him. I already put some good money down on him. Probably put a little more on it as the weekend gets closer and tomorrow the fights hit. It's because I like a little more sweat, but I feel confident in him. I feel really confident that he's going to win. I think he's just the better fighter. The only worry in the world I have is the fact that we talk about this all the time. The dude literally, he just keeps eating shots and moving forward and moving forward. And I made the joke about him blocking with his face. Like not literally, but like at times it literally looks like he's just like, no, hit me. I'm just going to keep stepping for you. You hit me. It's almost like he's playing a mental game with them. Like, you can hit me as hard as you want in the face, clean as you want. I'm still going forward. And I think at a certain point that has to something has to stop that. I just don't think it's going to be Royval. I don't think this is the spot where he gets stopped here. So maybe a couple fights down the road. I just don't see this as the point where Royval finishes him. I just don't see that. So I think Pantoja wins. I think if it goes to the cards, I think Pantoja wins. And I think he's the one that would get the finish, honestly. So I'm Pantoja all the way. He had some type of knee issue the first time these guys fought, and he still got the finish over Royval. So I don't see it any different. Healthy Pantoja, healthy Royval. I think Pantoja still gets the finish here. What do you got?
Royval's getting this shot. Listen, does he deserve it? Yeah. Is it going to be a great fight? Yeah. But he's getting this shot because if you look at his record and you look at the rankings in that division, we talked about this on the phone, that he just so happened to beat all these guys that are working their way up to the top. So it's like you have to give Royval the shot. Is he good? Yeah. Is he sick grappling? Yeah. Is he dynamic? Is he getting better? All those things. Yes. But when you look at Pantoja, when you look at somebody that you got to go into a foxhole with, bro, that you got to get dirty and grimy with, it's like, look no further than Pantoja. He's the Roberto Duran of that division. He might be the Roberto Duran of MMA. That's the way I look at him. He's like just that hard blue collar working guy that's going to come into the pocket, that's got very good grappling, that's got decent striking, but he doesn't start fighting until he starts bleeding. You know what I mean? He's got that old school way about him, and that's not going to last it's not going to last long, but it's a great story why it lasts. This is a guy who had, you talk about guys like Bilal fucking Muhammad and all these guys. This guy waited forever. This guy literally had to fight to get his way, where you got guys like Bilal fucking Muhammad who's weighing in and wouldn't even take a fight because he's afraid maybe I'll lose and I don't get my title shot. You know what I mean? Pantoja's a fighter. There's guys out there that are complete dogs, bro. Like this that will go, and it's not going to last very long. I hope it does because I think he's a great guy. I think he's very misunderstood. But I go by the dog here. Who is going to, in the fourth and fifth round, bite down on the fucking mouthpiece and either move forward or look to take the back and look for a finish? I think Royval has to come in with a lot of chaos really, really, really early. And that $7,600 price tag becomes enticing at that point. But I think as the fight goes on and Pantoja starts dragging him into that war, you got to go with Pantoja. So I do like Pantoja here, but you can't fade Royval, bro. Royval does some really slippery things in the first couple rounds. So, but I'm pretty confident in Pantoja. I just hope his cardio holds up. That's the only thing that concerns me with him a little bit. His cardio sometimes can be a little bit questionable. And when you're the champion and you're sitting high and you're the man now, how hungry are you? I just don't think it changes with him. I think he's dialed in that way. Like I said, I think he's hungry. He wants to be a fighter. He wants to be a champion.
The good thing is, too, we just saw him go 5 rounds, right? We just saw him go through a war with Moreno, decision. So it's good to see your guy like that go through the 5-round war and come out on top. So that makes me feel a little more confident. But I agree with you. I'm a fan of Royval's. I really I love both these fighters. I'm a fan of both these guys. I just think Pantoja is just a notch up on Royval, and I think we're going to see it on Saturday. So, yeah, great fight. I think for DraftKings, this is a fight you definitely want to target and be, overweight on. Do you see the winner not being in the optimal? Because I have
Royval. I have Royval as one of my top 7K guys.
Because if he wins, he's on the optimal.
Yeah, and not only that, even if it goes to decision, it's 5. You're looking at 5 rounds. If it's a scramble fest, control fest, and he loses, who knows? Maybe he could score you 50 points and stabilize something for you. Maybe not be optimal, but to stabilize something for you. So I got him pretty high in my 7K range.
Yeah, makes sense. I definitely see the winner being on the optimal, so I'm going to be all in on this fight, and one of these guys will be in pretty much all my lineups. So yeah, I like it. Let's move to the main event on the card here. Leon Edwards against Colby Covington. Edwards 8,200 on DraftKings. Covington 8K on DraftKings. Mad Lab, we got a lot of people, some people want to see Colby get knocked out. Some people think Colby's just going to put the pressure on, and the pressure is just going to be too much for Leon. That wrestle heavy chain wrestling pressure. What do you say? And at 8,208K for 5 rounds, do you see this being a fight that you just have to have exposure to?
1,000%. You got to have exposure either way. You have to. I mean, even Leon Edwards, if he has one of his lackadaisical fights where he just is very laid back and stuff like that and ends up knocking him out, 5 rounds, he's probably going to hit his mark. You know what I mean? You're not losing much with 8,200. Colby, on the other hand, if he wins, look at the historical breakdown of his fights. 170, 130. He's going to blow the fucking cover off the ball if he ends up winning with takedowns and stuff like that. But, man, I got to be honest with you. I told you this on the phone. I didn't go to bed till 2 o'clock in the morning last night because I ended up rewatching every single fucking fight for these guys because I started getting a little nervous. I was like, you got the layoff, you got this, you got that. So I started playing with my own head. And I went back and I looked at every fucking single finite detail in every round for all the Usman Edwards fights, all the Colby Usman fights. And then I went to some other fights. I went to the fight when he fought Masvidal. I went to the fight with Edwards when he fought Nate Diaz. I went through all the fights, hours and hours last night. I just kept watching and watching. And if you really watch those fights, there's certain points in all those fights that people are mistaken. People think that Colby, he has no power, they say. He's got pillow hands. He's just a crotch sniffer. Somebody tweeted me. Well, if you really watch the Usman fight, you'll see that at the very end of the round, if he had about 15 more seconds left, he might have been able to knock him out because he put him on completely weak legs. Okay. And then you got to look at the flip side of what did Nate Diaz do to him? Nate Diaz has the ultimate pillow hands, and Nate Diaz almost knocked out Edwards. So it's kind of, the talk is kind of stupid. The problem I do have with this fight though, for Colby is the layoff. That's my only issue with him here. Is the layoff, and he is extremely. There's no technique behind his striking. I'm completely convinced by that. He is a very good follow-up striker, and there's a difference between being a technical striker and a follow-up striker. A technical striker, you're setting your stuff up. A follow-up striker is when you hit a guy with something, you know how to follow it up. You know what I mean? And he's a great follow-up striker, but he's not a great technical striker, bro. And if you look, his head is always down. He's always swinging for the fucking fences. He's chaos. That's what he brings. He brings chaos. But if you watch all the Leon Edwards fights, there's something to be said about maybe Usman should have won those fights from all the illegal activity that happened in that cage. I mean, from the glove grabs to the fucking cage grabs to the fucking eye pokes to the, I mean, the guy has a history of cheating in the cage. I mean, he really does, Leon Edwards. Good guy, great guy, has a history of cheating in the cage. You watch that fight with Usman alone. 3 fence grabs, inside glove grabs. It's crazy. Low blows. So, yeah, he got a point taken away, but it doesn't matter. The point of the matter is positional situations were not granted to Usman because of cage grabs and all this other bullshit. So you wonder how that would go. But my flipping point on this fight completely was when he called his father out. And I know you guys don't like it, and we talked about it in the beginning of the show, and I know you guys think it's a scumbag piece of shit move, and I personally would never have said it, but he won the fucking war, dude. Like, he won the war. Rule number 1 in fighting is do not fight emotional, and he's going to come out and he's going to fucking fight emotional, and I have a feeling Colby's going to just thrive on that, and he's going to continuously do it in the cage. Probably afterwards going to say, bro, it's only business, and Leon Edwards is going to tell him to go fuck himself. But I think he's going to do that. I do think he's going to take him down and say and whisper in his ear and say all that bullshit. I really, really do. Close fight. You got to have it in your lineup, but I'm going Covington, dude. And no, I think there's a business behind it too with Trump.
Yeah, 100% there's a business behind it. If you don't think this fight was set up perfectly for timing,
the elections,
Dana White's one of his great friends. Colby's obviously doing the whole, get on the mic after and talk, right, Mad Lab? This is a business at the end of the day. It's business.
He don't sell. Edwards don't fucking sell.
And Colby, for all of the shit that people hate about Colby, the one thing you cannot say about him is that he does not try to sell the card, sell his fight, sell himself. The whole card, though, right? He's trying to sell the card, trying to get people to listen. Because you know what? Even if you hate someone, sometimes you can hate someone so much you need to listen. Because you just hate him so you just want it so bad, Mad Lab. You want to say, this motherfucker, he's so fucking, I want to smack the shit out of him. I hate
you know
this
how much sales
guy.
went up last night?
Yeah, I believe it.
You know how much sales went up last night? You know how many people, these like the snowflakes and stuff? What a piece of shit. I hope he gets his block knocked off now. Like, yeah. They bought into it.
Meanwhile, Edward, I mean, besides him with that crazy KO of Usman, when, by the way, he was getting dominated by Usman in that fight. Dominated. All right? I don't care what you say about Colby lost to Usman twice. That's great. He was getting dominated by Usman. And then he gets that kick in the 5th round after being dominated, right? And then after that, everything changed. But before that, the dude wasn't knocking out anyone. Decision fighter.
11 decisions.
And all he does is hang back. He has no urgency. There's no urgency to win a round. So if Colby is grinding on him and he's fucking chain wrestling and he's just like relentless chaos, like Mad Lab said, when those rounds are close and Colby's doing that and Edwards is kind of just waiting and hanging back, who's going to win those rounds? Like, I just don't see how Colby doesn't win those close rounds.
I think Colby gets dropped in this fight, though.
I mean, he could.
I think he does. I think he does. I think he gets dropped in this fight in a chaotic exchange, and Leon Edwards drops him, and then Colby recovers like he always does. He recovers, and then he starts really leaning. There's a part of me that almost wants him to get dropped early, not dropped to the where Edwards stings him and says, "Okay, well now fuck this, dude. I'm gonna literally wrestle my ass off this whole fight." Yeah. So there's a part of me that wants him to get dropped, and then there's a part of me that obviously I don't want him to get dropped because it could be a close decision. But I don't know, man. I got to go Covington here. I have to. It's just a very bad stylistic matchup for Edwards. But if it stays standing, Colby's going to get fucking chewed alive. That I'll tell you.
Yeah, I agree. I think that this is Colby, and I think that, Leon Edwards, they're going to be ready for that. I mean, the dude does cheat in the cage, and trust me, if he's grabbing with those, he's going to be grabbing that cage. He's going to get points taken away, or if he doesn't, he's going to get taken down. So that's the other thing. And I think the pressure is just going to get to him a little bit. I do think he's going to fight emotionally, and I think that's going to backfire on him.
Do we know who the ref for this fight is? That's important for this because I'm going to tell you why it's important.
I don't know.
Let me see. I wonder if it's Herb Dean. If it's Herb Dean, he's not. He was the one who.
B-Nair said it should be Herb.
Well, let me tell you something. If it's Herb Dean, there's going to be points taken away without warnings, dude. Because he was the one in the cage that night when he was lying. Leon was lying to him. He's going, what are you talking about? He's like, don't tell me what you're talking about. I was right here. He was literally talking to him. Like, I saw you do it. Don't do it again. Then the low blow. Then the cage grab. Then he's going to be, you're not going to, like, Kobe's camp's not going to have to say to him, bro, watch the fence grabs. Watch what he's going to be like. Trust me, I know.
Yeah. Oh, they're going to try and keep saying it though. Like they're going to, but he's going to be like, I got this. I got this. And you're right. There's probably going to be no warnings too. So that's a good point. Yeah. I would assume it's Herb. Matty Ice says it's Herb. He normally does the US pay-per-views. So that's what I would assume it's Herb Dean. So it's a good call right there. A little edge right there, but yeah, it seems like we're both on the dog. I mean, I think it's going to be a good fight. I think it's going to be a close fight, Mad Lab. Do you see like a dominating Colby performance?
No.
Or do you see it being a close fight?
I think it's going to be a close fight. I could see it being – I could honestly see like maybe going into the 5th round where I'm texting you and I'm like, bro, do you have this too?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I can feel it. I swear that it's funny. Like the last Usman fight, I was telling everybody, I'm like, Leon Edwards is the lock of locks. Like he's such a lock. He's going to dominate Usman. He's going to fucking kick his ass. All this shit. I was so confident on Edwards. And he barely won that. I don't even know if he fully won that fight. Like he won the fight.
What?
Like it was close. The second fight with Edwards and Usman.
Oh, yeah.
That was a close fight. Yeah. And I was wrong because I thought Edwards was going to dominate him. And I was so off base on that fight. I was stunned. And I was mad at myself because I was telling everyone, and I almost lost. And I was telling everyone, like, bet as much money as you can on this dude. And I was so glad he won because of how much money I had on it. But it was just like this guy, like, he has no urgency. And I watched that fight saying to myself, this dude is just, he's not going for it. He's trying to, like, let the judges at the end of the day decide it instead of him, like, doing something to just solidify that round. So we had no idea.
When you look at, and another thing, like people are saying his takedown defense got so much better, his wrestling got better. It did, because that was Leon Edwards' biggest thing. He's wrestling, his takedown defense, his grappling. His grappling was always okay, but his wrestling wasn't that good, and his takedown defense wasn't that good. So they're saying now, like, what are you going to do? Like, how is he going to get him down? Like, he looks so good against Usman. First of all, Usman did not take him down. Usman got him down around 4 times in the second fight, 5 times in the first fight. He was able to ground him. Secondly, you can't look at that because who has better takedown defense than Kamaru Usman, right? I mean, really think about it. He was taken down twice in his fight against Colby. They never counted it. And DC even said it. DC even said, these are takedowns. The refs aren't counting them. So technically, Colby was able to take down Kamaru, was the first person to take down Kamaru Usman, not once, but twice in a single fight. You don't think he's going to be able to take down Edwards at least 3 times? At least 3 times.
In 5 rounds.
You know what I mean?
5 rounds? Come on.
So I'm all over Colby from a DraftKings perspective. There's way too much upside if he gets his groove going. I'm going to have a heavier lean on him, but you can't fade Edwards because, like I said, chaos is very chaotic. He comes in with his head down, and Leon Edwards is a fucking sniper, dude. He can snipe him with a knee, snipe him with a right hand early. But there's just way too much upside on a monster DraftKings score for Covington to ignore it.
Yeah, he's definitely got like the monster upside in DraftKings. But I agree with you. This fight, it's tough to ignore either way you go. Yeah. You're going to want this fight on the card. So we got 2 really good main events. I can't wait for this card. Mad Lab, also just remind people if they want to check out your stuff. Obviously, you can check it out over at Rumble Sports. But you also got your own site with the bet pack and everything. So if you want to just plug it real quick for the people.
Yeah, we got full content up. We're running a special actually because this is the last fight of the year where we're throwing a contest, new subscribers and existing subscribers for free 3 months for the first quarter of 2024. So if you get in, there's a DraftKings contest we'll be throwing. If you win, you get 3 months free. So join a week, possibly get 3 months. It's a good thing. We have all the bets that are coming in. I'm on it now. But yeah, we got a pretty decent announcement to make for 2024. Something we're doing with the site. So a lot of good things, and hopefully, obviously, we continue to have great success together. And that's it.
Love it. Yeah, and if you want to check us out, Run Pure Sports, you can get Mad Labs breakdowns for the main card. You got the metrics, all the hedge weights, everything like that for the members over there, then the core plays and everything. For all the sports, you guys know NFL, NBA, MMA, it doesn't matter, golf, NHL, we don't stop. We roll it through all throughout the year. Giblets 44 is the code. Get you 44% off your first month or weekly payment over at Run Pure Sports. So get over there, hit the like button on your way out, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're not subscribed, and let's all run pure this week. Thanks to Mad Lab for hanging out with me. I'm JSU. Hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we'll see you guys next week. We're out. Peace.